Pro Tour.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was.
It very much, like, I felt like, my God, there's fetches in there. Like, coming from Standard, where we're, like, finally getting blessed with the full cycle of shocks, which is, like, confirmed for lore when we're getting the rest of the shocks. Hooray. But, like, it's felt so funny. We've talked in the past previously about how poor Standard mana bases can be. You get starting towns, you get slow lands and fast lands, and look, we made verges for you. And so getting to watch, a format where they've got the most precise execution of mana possible was very, very cool. And the event itself was just insane.
It looked so cool, and the coverage was amazing. I do love Pro Tour coverage. There's nothing quite like it. And also, like, the limited rounds were fun. The modern metagame, ooh, so refreshing.
Our own Riley Knight was doing commentary as well. So he was abroad doing commentary for the Pro Tour, which was very good. Very good to hear the subtle tones of an Aussie abroad.
Of an Aussie accent.
But no, I mean, looking at the metagame was just such a breath of fresh air.
Top deck, 16% of the field.
Oh my gosh, we would be so lucky to have a top deck that was 16% of the field. But hi, welcome. We here at Raise the Standard, we love Magic a lot.
We do?
We really love Magic a lot. And we realized that we couldn't just focus on one constructed format, because we just want to keep talking about Magic. We want to keep talking about the formats. And we especially have really loved the competitive element and the competitive aspect to Magic and to Magic play. And so we are raising our own standards in a way, and we are broadening our horizons. And today we bring to you Mildly Modern. And this is going to be a new series that we bring to you pretty often. We're looking, we have standard competitive seasons and modern competitive seasons, and we are going to be weaving these together to bring you nonstop competitive Magic content.
We will say that, Standard is still the one format to rule them all.
Yeah.
We will still predominantly be talking about Standard week to week, but we didn't want to, we didn't want to put ourselves on rails, so to speak. When something cool happens in Modern, like, I don't know, a really cool Modern Pro Tour, we want an excuse to talk about it.
We also ourselves are not so linear as Magic players as to only ever be interested in or focus on Standard. You're an L1 judge. You judge competitive events for limited Standard, back in the days of Pioneer, Modern, Highlander as well. And I do commentary for competitive events. I did RC9 and I'm doing RC10 next month as well, which is going to be Modern. And I myself have been playing Modern a lot. So there's no need for us to be so shoehorned, again. Standard is probably, like, it's the format that really made me love Magic. Criticize me all you want. But getting into even, being able to talk about Magic all the time is exactly what I want.
More Magic, more of the time? As we have said before, yes, please.
I want to be able to talk about Magic all of the time. And so, that welcome to Mildly Modern. So today, I figured there is no better way to start off our new series than by talking about Pro Tour Edge of Eternities, which has, as of this morning here in Australia, on the day that we are recording, has just concluded. We have a winner, but I have not told Maya what deck has won or who won the event, and so I've got some notes, so we're gonna go through this pretty casually, because this is our first kind of foray into the Modern format. So I'm gonna grab my notes.
So for context, both Kira and I have watched day 1 and day 2, but only Kira has watched this morning's top 8. I was in bed asleep.
Which, you know what, respect.
Yeah.
But really briefly, let's talk kind of a little bit about the Modern metagame. We mentioned, the top deck, which was Esper Goryo's, had a 16.7% meta share. Let's just think about that for a minute. Wow.
It's so beautiful.
Must be nice.
It's so beautiful.
The deck with the next most represented was Tameshi Belcher, and that was at 15% of the meta. So the difference between the most represented and the second most represented is basically nothing. It's a 5 deck difference between Tameshi Belcher and Esper Goryo's, and that could have easily gone either way.
Yeah, it's like a percentage point or something.
A percentage point. You had then Boros Energy, Eldrazi Tron, Izzet Affinity, Esper Blink, Amulet Titan, Simic Neoform, Domain Zoo, and Eldrazi Ramp. It's a beautiful spread. It's an absolutely beautiful spread. You have, there is a clear top 3 best decks. your top 3 decks that are most represented are Esper Goryeos, Tameshi Belcher, and you have your Boros Energy. And everything falls off by a significant number of points after that. The difference between Boros and then Eldrazi is like 6% of the meta share. You have then your tier 2, and you have your fringe tier 3, your other category, and the other category was represented at about 17.7%.
Which is lower historically than the last couple of protos has been.
And what that also shows, there is a lot of debate about what the real best deck of Modern is.
Sure.
And this meta breakdown, I think, really hones in on that very well. What, among these decks, what is the best? You've got your clear tier 1s, you've got your tier 2s, and you've got your tier 3s. But it's all there. Everything you could want is all there. And the top 8 was similarly reflected of that. So the top 8, there were 2 copies of Tameshi Belcher. There was Amulet Titan, Esper Goryeos, Esper Blink, Simic Neoform, Azorius Control, and Is It Prowess. A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Beautiful. Beautiful metagame. Beautiful top 8. Like, I'm haunted still by the image of the top 8 that was 50%, Cauldron, 50% Mono red.
Yeah.
Haunted. I remain haunted by that image. And so seeing that top 8, oh my gosh.
So
it made me excited because when you get to the top 8 at Pro Tour, they become best of 5 matches.
That's so much magic.
That's so much magic. There's no clear, there was no one clear best deck in the top 8. Like, individually, I think I have heard, someone say that each of those decks is the best deck in Modern. Possibly not Simic Neoform. That one, I was surprised to see Simic Neoform. That is a really interesting deck that is doing Neoform into Grizzlebrand shenanigans. And
timeless classic.
Classic Grizzlebrand things. Commander players, if you want a chance to play Grizzlebrand, just go play Modern.
Yeah, it's just that easy.
It's literally that easy. They'll let you pay 7 life and draw 7 cards. Like, it's allowed.
They'll lightning bolt you afterwards, but they will let you.
They'll let you do it. It's really incredible to see each of the players, like, they were jockeying for that top spot because there was it could have been anything. Like, it genuinely could have been anything. Now, the quarterfinals, every single match went to game 5.
Really?
Every single match went to game 5.
That's crazy.
And again, that underscores is there seriously a best deck? When every single match goes to game 5, you're playing best of 5, it's first to 3. If you all go to 5 games, it's 2-2 going into game 5. It's basically coin flip, it feels like, right?
Well, it feels like skill expression.
It's an expression, piloting the deck, understanding how your deck works, and in that matchup, understanding how your deck works as well. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but when you play best of 5 matches, you only sideboard after game 2.
Correct.
So,
yeah,
really intense.
It's so cool that matches are all going to 5 games because that means that the things that are making the difference most of the time is the skill of the players, right? If the games are so close that it's kind of like very close to that like 50-50 mark, that means that, the person who is winning is probably the player who performed the best over the course of the games on average. And that's so cool. That's exactly what you want to see in the top 8 of a Pro Tour.
Yeah. They're insane going to game 5. Now, after that, the semifinals came down to Haruichi on Esper Blink, Sanchez on Azorius Control, Araxinen and De Benedetto Plummer on Belcher Mirror.
Belcher Mirror?
Belcher Mirror. Yeah, so it was Esper Blink versus Azorius Control, and then the Belcher Mirror.
Okay.
From this spot, and based on what we know about these 3 decks, who makes it to the finals? One answer is obvious.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tameshi Belcher. Crazy. And probably whoever was on the play in that matchup, I have to imagine. And the other matchup was Azorius versus Esper Blink.
Yes.
So Esper Blink is a mid-range deck. Azorius Control is a control deck.
Yeah.
Traditionally, Control does pretty well in that matchup. Esper Blink's really powerful, though, because you have, like, the Quantum Riddler effects, and it doesn't necessarily get hosed quite as hard as Teferi, but Teferi against Ephemerate is really good.
Let me tell you as well, in the Esper Blink archetype, I have, Quantum Riddler has been like minutely abused in Standard, like minutely abused. They were beating that Sphinx like with a hammer in Modern, and it was so impressive. Like, again, the way in which cards are expressed and used in Modern versus in Standard is worlds apart. It's not even the same. And the interaction between Psychic Frog and Quantum Riddler and Ephemerate. I didn't know you could play Magic like that.
Yeah.
You know, there was nothing like, you know, warping a Quantum Riddler for 2 mana. Trigger on the stack to draw a card. Psychic Frog, discard your hand. And then resolve the Quantum Riddler trigger and draw 2 cards. Oh, but what's that? I'm then going to ephemerate my Quantum Riddler, trigger on the stack,
Discard my hand.
discard my hand,
Draw 2 cards.
draw 2 cards.
Attack with Psychic Frog. Discard my hand. Draw 2 cards.
Like, there was a not in specifically in the semifinals matchup, but there was a match of Esper Blink that was being played that I believe the Esper player drew 8 cards in a single turn.
I like drawing 8 cards.
And it was, I believe, for 3 mana.
That's better Wheel of Fortune.
We thought Stock Up was good. You thought Stock Up was good where you can look at, you know, the top 5 cards of your library and you get to pick 2 of them. Thank you, Standard Crumbs. I love my Stock Up. Drawing 8 cards, excuse me, for 3 mana.
It's pretty good.
It's really, really good.
Who was on the play?
I don't remember.
Okay. So
I don't remember, but I'll give you both of these semifinals matches went to 5 games each.
Sure. I'm going to fall back on ye olde archetype knowledge, and I'm going to say that Narset is too good against Quantum Riddler. I'm going to say that Azorius Control got there.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ooh.
You are correct. If I had to guess, I would intuit that Francisco Sanchez was on the play.
Sure.
For all of these matches going to 5 games. I would assume the control player was on the play 3 out of 5 times.
Sure, that makes sense.
That just statistically seems like where we end up.
Cool.
So, Pro Tour Edge of Eternities finals.
Yep.
Comes down to Francisco Sanchez on Azorius Control.
Yep.
And Michael DiBenedetto Plummer on Tameshi Belcher.
Yep.
Final match is still best of 5.
Yep.
Who wins? Like I'm saying nothing. Out of this, I'm not even gonna.
It's a 5-game series.
3-0 sweep.
So my understanding of this matchup is that it's really bad for Tameshi. So my guess is Azorius Control 3-0 sweep.
Belcher 3-0 sweep.
Really?
Belcher 3-0 sweep.
What?
Michael DiBenedetto Plummer is your Pro Tour Edge of Eternities champion.
Isn't that matchup terrible?
From my understanding, it is not a good matchup for Belcher. 3-0 sweep.
Damn, that's impressive. Congratulations. That's insane.
Tameshi Belcher.
Yeah.
A combo deck with no lands. All of your lands are MDFCs. Takes the win. It was the second most represented deck at the Pro Tour. Did you think that Belcher was going to win? Like, based, understanding the format, hearing, this is like top 8. Based on representation in the top 8, Belcher being the most represented, we can intuit it clearly has the strengths to beat out a majority of the rest of the playing field. If 2 different players are able to get there and you're able to mitigate the rest of, the format. But understanding as well that the finals is its worst matchup.
Well, I mean, clearly
Yeah,
not. My understanding is that Azorius Control has a very good matchup into, especially the Teferi Time Ravel version, has a very good matchup into Tameshi. I would not have guessed 3-0 to Belcher. That's insane. That's very cool.
The thing that I find so incredibly insane as well is that all of the quarterfinals, all of the semifinals, every single match goes to game 5. Finals? 3-0.
3-0 sweep.
Like, it was hard.
Yeah, just that easy.
So incredibly impressive. I like Belcher is something that I toyed with, when I've, been thinking about what am I going to put together? What am I going to learn how to play Modern on? I, flirted with the idea of Belcher because I just think it's a very interesting combo deck. I think a mana base entirely of MDFCs to get the most out of your Goblin Char Belcher, which is, the nom de plume of the deck. But I didn't build Belcher. I'm on energy. I'm on Boros energy.
My understanding of Belcher as well is that it's very hard. Like,
Yes.
I've been playing a while. So
Old.
Yeah, a little bit. So when I hear Goblin Char Belcher, I think of the old legacy decks.
Yeah.
Right? I think of the old like mono red or like black X legacy decks that are just trying to like turbo out Goblin Char Belcher and kill you on turn 2. Right? Using Land Grant and Dark Ritual and Cabal Ritual and Lotus Petals. But having a look at the deck and seeing how it plays, this deck looks incredibly difficult because it's also just kind of a control deck, right? You're countering key pieces. Every single thing in your hand has meaningful text. Like, at some point, you just can cast a Hydroelectric Specimen, and you will win some games attacking people with a Hydroelectric Specimen, which is wild. And I don't know. It is not a throwaway combo deck. It is really hard. It's so impressive to take it to all the way through a Pro Tour, all the way up to the top, even if it is the most represented deck. It's so cool.
Belcher Mirror, like, insane to watch as well. Who can Belcher faster? Who can belch faster than the other player? And again, getting to 5 games also means that the mirror is very technical. It's a very, like, you both know with brutal clarity exactly what the other person is going to do to you. They are going to belch you. So very impressive. I will say do you remember the match? There was a really excellent match. It was Eldrazi versus Belcher, and opponent on Eldrazi casts Emrakul, the gain control Emrakul. And it gets counterspelled, but the trigger still goes on the stack to gain control of your opponent.
Yes, I do
and
remember this
they
game.
gained control of, the Belcher opponent's turn, and they go, Lotus Bloom, tap, tap, Belcher you. And they won the game.
Yeah.
Which was very funny.
I think it was Luis Savado, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Oh, playing Eldrazi Tron, I think.
But like, hysterical use of Belcher.
Oh, so
and
funny.
Great use of the Emrakul. I'm going to control you. And Belcher, target player is you. I'd like you to Belcher yourself, actually.
Yep.
But I have been playing a lot of Modern recently. I've really been enjoying it. I have been learning a lot about Modern through the lens of the Boros Energy deck because it is one of the decks that I believe has the greatest toolkit to deal with a variety of threats in the format. It has, combo killers, it's got lots of creatures, it's got ways to enable protection for itself, it plays Voice of Victory. It is a very, very interesting deck. The lines are very interesting. Will say, very surprised that it did not make it into the top. No Boros Energy in the top 8. Very interesting. But the issue with Boros Energy is, what does your 1/1 cat token look like against a Grizzlebrand?
Yeah. The thing about Boros Energy, and Boros Energy is really good, but it is quintessentially fair. Right? Like, Ocelot Pride is, like, incredibly immensely powerful, and, we can have an argument until the cows come home about whether it is busted. But it isn't a Grizzlebrand. And it isn't an Atraxa in play on turn 2. Because that's the other sort of, like, quote-unquote mid-range deck of the format, is this, like, Espagorios deck. It's kind of the fairest of the unfair decks. And if you're not doing something unfair, you just kind of get run over in this format now. So it does make sense to me that Boros Energy did sort of struggle its way, or did struggle to get to the top 8, because how does Boros Energy, like, beat an attack with an Atraxa, right? How does Boros Energy beat a turn 2 kill from an Amulet Titan?
And that's the thing. The games that Boros Energy wins, it wins very, very quickly.
Yeah.
It is they're fast games. They're still not turn 2 Amulet games. A turn 2 Amulet game is the ideal for the Amulet player. And it's pretty consistent, which is the scary part. And, Boros Energy is probably still turn 4, which fast by standard means, but in a format where you can, Atraxa on turn 2, kind of slow. And so it's very interesting to see kind of where it falls in. Where it does well is when it's going really fast and you've got, Ragavan Pride Guide, and you're able to just barf out a bunch of little guys and you can get a bunch of damage in and you're flipping a Johnny's and you're dealing damage incidentally that way as well. Versus, these incredibly, again, Cat, Grizzlebrand, Cat, Atraxa. These things are not equal.
I think it's also the kind of interaction that Boros Energy has, right? Because with a lot of these combo style decks, and especially the ones that were popular at the Pro Tour, the best kind of interaction against them is stack interaction.
Yes.
Right? Is your Force of Negations and your Flare of Denials and your Fluster Storms and your Consigned to Memories, right? It is, which is not something that Boros Energy has access to. Boros Energy is really, really good at killing Dragon's Rage channelers and struggles a great deal at countering a Goblin Charbelcher.
Now, I will say, so again, this format is not standard. It is absolutely not standard.
No.
And it is so unbelievably cool. Like, I'm loving Modern. I love Modern so... I am a Modern truther now. Like, I love I
got
love
all the way
format.
there?
I love the format. And what it really is I'm really loving competitive Magic.
Yeah.
I love competitive play Magic. And if you're a Commander player that wants to play CDH all the time, but you're frustrated by the politicking and how many people are involved and you just want to be able to win, go play competitive. Play 60-card Constructed. It's so, so good. And there was an incredible match that I was watching. Because again, free spells, yes please. Winning on turn 2, yes please. The craziest interaction that I learned about at this Pro Tour, and again, I'm learning. Other people are very well aware of this by now. Jason Yee was playing a Jeskai Chant deck. And it was playing the deck in a way, the whole point of the deck is to Isochron Scepter, Orum's Chant kicked, lock your opponent out of the game, and to Fairy Time Reveler. And the whole plan is I am going to make it so that you can never cast another spell, and you can never attack ever again for the rest of the game. And I just felt like the little fox stuffed, like sitting there like, I didn't know you were allowed to do that. And so the power level, the cards, there are, I believe, currently in Standard, 10 legal sets. I believe it's 10 or 11. That is 1/10 of the sets that are legal in Modern.
There are 100 sets legal in
There
Modern.
are currently, and I know this because they had it as one of their, did you know facts on the little slideshows that they were showing in between rounds. One of the little things was there are 100 sets that are legal in Modern currently.
I mean, that makes sense. It's everything from 8th edition.
Yeah.
So it's like, God.
100 sets.
Oh, wait. I'm bad at maths, but if 8th edition was 2007, that's so many cards. Holy moly.
Standard is 1/10 of the card pool of Modern.
17 years worth of cards.
1/10.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so, of course, you are going to have a different format.
A horse
Your
is a horse?
His name is Mr. Ed. You are going to obviously have a very different format. It's going to look different. The mana is going to be different. It's going to be better. You have fetches and shocks, and you've got, what's the, I think it's flagstones?
Of Trigger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, incredible cards, efficient mana bases, free spells. This format has everything.
It has everything.
This format has everything, and it's so cool. And I, for one, I'm so excited to, I am humbled to be a part of the commentary team for RC10. I am so excited to see what our format is going to look like. The big international stages, these Pro Tour level events, do have an impact on our local metagame. And so I'm very interested to see what, the Australian metagame post Pro Tour Edge of Eternities looks like for us at the end of next month. I'm so excited to see, is it going to change very much? Are people going to iterate on decks that we've already seen? Is, Jeskai Chant going to become more popular? I can't wait. I'm loving Modern. I can't wait to play it more. I can't wait to be in the format more. I can't wait to bring all of you more Modern content because I can't stop talking about how incredible this format is. I can't stop talking about how interesting it is. I love it.
Modern rules right now. And the other thing I will say is that if you have not watched the Pro Tour, you should. Modern has this really interesting, unique feature at the moment where basically every deck at that Pro Tour was interesting to watch bar one, right? Made for a really, really good watching experience. Like Amulet Titan, very interesting to watch because it's complicated and a lot of things are happening. Esper, Blink, and the mid-range matchups and the control matchups, interesting to watch. The back and forth is really compelling, and obviously the commentators do a really good job of kind of bringing out the narrative in those. The only deck that I would say that's not terribly interesting to watch is Neoform, because it either wins immediately or does nothing.
Or it does nothing.
And we saw that on coverage a couple of times.
Yes.
But that's still... And also, the limited rounds were good this time round. Edge of Eternities, awesome limited format.
Excellent.
Great to watch at a Pro Tour level. Seriously, go watch the Pro Tour. It's so, so cool.
Frankly, even if you just watch the top 8 matches, watching all of these players go to 5 matches, except for the finals, watching everyone go to 5 matches, the tension, the intensity, it's palpable. It's so cool. I was jump scared by the Is It Prowess deck playing Corey Steelcutter. Not in my format. but it's so interesting, right? Because, again, the power level is so different. Corey Steelcutter dominated Standard. It basically, ruined the format for a little bit.
It was also like a top 2 deck in Modern for a couple of months.
It was very good, but watching it just kind of not good enough. Too good for Standard, not good enough for Modern, or just good enough for Modern. And making the top 8 at a Pro Tour is no small feat.
No,
it is no small feat. So Corey Steelcutter good enough to make the top 8, at both Standard and Modern Pro Tours, but not good enough to win. So
I will say also, if you want to get better at Magic, just in general, watch the Pro Tour.
Watch Pro Tours.
I feel like I get better at playing Magic in general by osmosis, just by watching the pro players play and having it explained to me. I'm just like, I am just, for the next month, I am going to be like 11% better at Magic than I was before I watched the Pro Tour.
There is obviously no, replacement to playing and understanding yourself, how you play and interact and, understand your decks. There's no actual replacement, but genuinely, you will learn so much. You will understand lines better. You might be sitting there going, why wouldn't you do that? And then they make a different play and you go, oh, that's why you wouldn't do that. And there is so much to be gleaned and so much to be learned. And if there's anything that we learned from Pro Tour Edge of Eternities, it's to slide into Cedric Phillips's DMs to get him to iterate on rules and rules.
To explain why things don't actually go infinite in Magic. They
Yes.
Go
If you really need to know why, you need to slide into Cedric Phillips's DMs and
explain the difference between countable and non-countable infinites.
Exactly, and these things are very important.
They are.
But congratulations again to Michael DiBenedetto Plummer, who is the Pro Tour winner of Pro Tour Edge of Eternities on Tameshi Belcher of all things. So, and here's to more Mildly Modern. Here's to more Mildly Modern. I can't wait. This format is great.
Not an excuse to play Modern. Oh no.
Oh no, I have to play more Magic. Oh no, send me to Magic jail.
Please
Bummer.
send me to jail where the only thing I ever have to do is play a bunch of Magic. That sounds like a rules.
Yeah, oh no, that sucks. Arrest me, officer. Abolish the prison state.
Yep.
And look, we've had an amazing time talking about Modern today, but that's all that we have to start us off. The first inaugural episode of Mildly Modern. That's all we've got for you today. We look forward to seeing you guys again next week. New episodes air on Mondays at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. You can keep track of all of our releases at Raise MTG on both Instagram and Blue Sky. You can find Maya on the same platforms at Maya MTG and myself at Kira Bobira. A huge thank you to the Hen House Rehearsal Studios for the use of their recording space. And until next time, remember, don't bolt the Tarmogoyf.